Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Good morning, Deborah. Oh, of course, my bag's going to itch right in the center where you can't reach. How are you doing? Gonna wait for some people to find me. Of course, this number that I see is never right. I have pinned the link to Jordan Fabric's YouTube channel and to their store. Ah, there she is. Oh, I'm it. Oh, you're gonna get it Friday. You're gonna get to be it. Oh, good morning, Lynn. Dee Dee over at My Big Tidy Up says, hello, I found you, tag, you're it. Doesn't she just fit in? She doesn't have to quilt, she just fits in. Good afternoon. I thought it was going to sneeze. Good afternoon, Lynn. Let's try to say Liz. Sylvia is on holiday, so I don't expect to see her today. And you never know what Melissa's doing. So who knows? We may be moderatorless. I may just start, giving wrenches to people like Dee Dee. Anybody scared? Anybody? Oh, going on my second giant coffee. Actually, it was a coffee and a half. I had bottles of Starbucks, the pre-mixed little bottles of Starbucks coffee. I had those in case of a power outage. They need to be used so they don't expire. I am decluttering. Everybody's saying hi. Nightbot reminding you, don't forget to give the thumbs up, sub, ring the bell for notifications, blah, 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 comment, share. Kindness is contagious. Be the light you hope to see in others. That was the only important part. Oh, okay. I don't know if I can get through this without. I don't have waterproof eyeliner on, just so you know. I woke up to some very sad news this morning, as I imagine several of us did in the quilting community, judging by the thousands of views and comments that the video got. Donna Jordan over at Jordan Fabrics hadn't posted anything new from their company since December, except for the, last year's reshares of the videos, which were great. She is a quilting, they have a shop. She's a teacher. Her and her husband been together since they're 16. He says he'll tell you about it at the end of the video. It's a short video that they put up. She passed away. Donna Jordan passed away. Her husband has confirmed it. This is not just another hoax people are doing. Her husband confirmed it on the 14th. I had been trying to decide whether to cancel my live or not, because I am a huge fan of Donna Jordan. In fact, I hadn't made any of her things, but she's kept me going. But last Tuesday after my live, I went over and I decided to finally watch her video and try step by step with her as she was making her stars. And I put this aside. Sunday, I decided to pick it back up because I messed one up. Actually, I messed them all up. They're supposed to be cut at 60 degrees. Cut them at 30 degrees, you get two. But Sunday, my husband mentioned again that I hadn't made my son a quilt yet. So I put that aside so I could start on his quilt. And then I woke up this morning and found out that she was no longer with us. So go over, give their channel some love. Maybe give their shop a little bit of love. And I'm just very sad for their family. Oh, Dawn, are you playing hooky? Good morning. Good morning. Let's see who else came in while I was blabbering. I thought I heard my phone. It must have been a bird. Good morning, Melissa at Practically Creative. My quilt projects is Dawn. Good morning. Let's see. I think I've gotten everybody. Mr. IT is sick, so kind of. Because he got the man flu. Anyway, so I thought I'd share that about Donna Jordan because I'm kind of, you know, and I thought I would put this one up. I was in a rush to do that one. I still don't have anybody to give it to, but I love this one and it's going to find a home. It needed to be made, so I made it. That's how most of my projects that I want to do, if they're left undone, it's because I just don't have any vision for it. But once a vision hits me, I've got to get it and I've got to start going on it. For no reason. The lap quilt that I made out of 3-yard quilts, my first 3-yard quilt I made, I didn't know where that was going until I made it, and I was like, my cousin needs this. It had a home. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. Sylvia is on holiday. Melissa is on it. Yes, man flu extra child. Donna says, let's see if I can not hit the back button and mess up my live this morning. Melissa hears the birds, and if you are offended by hearing the birds, I apologize. God put them there. Talk to him. I like them. Is that not nice? My husband would look at me right now and tell me, you're not being the light, Coleen. Okay. Melissa says husband equals extra child too. It's going to be fun today. One more thing I want to be sure to share. Let's see if I can get it in there. Exclamation knit. Sylvia is doing her sponsored knit for Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's and dementia are connected. You know, my dad has dementia. And yesterday, another sad story, and then we will get on the good side. I promise. There is too much bad in the world, by the way. Pray for those that got hit by the storms, those who have lost loved ones. There were so many people lost over this last weekend here in the U.S. due to those storms. Missouri lost 12 people. I don't know how many homes. By the grace of God, we did not get hit. My parents didn't get hit. No one I know personally did. So thankful for that. But pray for them. Pray for them. Do something kind. If you can donate plasma, donate blood. There's usually lots of injured and stuff like that too that need these extra things. Go do that. Donate a quilt to your local police department. If you've got an extra one or two or a dozen, because I know some of you have been quilting forever and just have them hoarded in your house because you should. That way they can get the victims. I don't know. Can't talk today. Aw, thank you, Dawn. Dawn, let's see. For my comment, I will now be doomed to have woman flu, go about life normally with all responsibilities and feel like crap. I know, right? And she said, you look great, Coleen. Thank you. And Deborah says, absolutely, Dawn. Who just got over something that her group shared with her. Like my husband, if I sneeze, my nose starts running, I look at him, you better not have brought anything home to me. I don't leave the house anymore. There's only one way for things to get to me. And it's him. He has a compromised immune system. He has to go in for infusions ever so often for his immune system and stuff. Yet I'm the one that gets sick. Oh, but I was talking about that sponsored knit by Sylvia in March. She is going to be knitting every day, and she's knitting the cutest little people people, animal things. They're just so cute. They got little neckerchiefs on them, and they are just adorable. She's putting shorts up on all of them. So if you want to check her out, check her channel out. It's called a sponsorship because she's trying to raise money for the Alzheimer's over in the UK. I've got a link. It did not. Nightbot shouldn't let me put more information, and then YouTube will share. Nightbot didn't share that, but it did share her Facebook page for that Alzheimer's. Her little dolls are super cute, Melissa says. Yesterday, I talked to my mom. Like I said, I have one more thing, and then we're going to straighten it up. Yesterday, I was talking to my mom, unrelated to the Alzheimer's. She called to tell me that Joann Discounts Online was having a huge online sale. Do not fall for online scams. She saw it on Facebook where she sees most of her information at. I looked it up and I said, no, Mom, I'm pretty sure they're only doing in-store sales right now. And she says, oh, no, I saw it. It's got the logo and everything. I said, Mom, they steal those. And finally, I was laying down when she called because I'd been cutting and I thought I'd lay down while I talked to her. So I got up and I said, hang on a second. Let me go on my account and see what it says. I said, because I'm sure every YouTuber I've heard, and YouTube is just full of Joann's information, everybody telling you about their business. But anyway, I've heard that they're only doing it online, but I got on my account and I said, no, I said, you have to go into the store. They're not doing it online anymore. And I looked and I was like, there are scams going around with fake sites claiming to be Joann's since this bankruptcy of theirs and they're closing of the stores and stuff. So there are lots of fake sites out there. Don't fall for it. Just be careful. Right? Let's see. First, Don said, all the crud going around been exposed since November. My body never got sick. Now the crud is in the house. We will probably now all get it. Lysol wipes, Lysol spray everywhere. I was very good at not getting what everybody else had when the kids were little. Now I'm older, not so much. Melissa says, your mom's generation, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Yep, Melissa. Don says so too. Melissa, my husband is like that too. Oh, Deborah. Yeah, I started to say that. Melissa says, oh, Deborah, that's frustrating. And it is, because then I got to explain to her, I can't convince her. It takes a while to convince her, I guess, that things aren't true. But I was like, I've got on my account. It says in-store pickup, in-store only. You can't even order online and do a store pickup. So just watch out for that. But anyway, I was talking to my mom and I said, as I was getting off the phone, I said, I love you. She says, I love you too. I said, I love Dad too. Tell him. And I hear her say my dad's name. And she's like, do you know who Coleen is? And he starts laughing and he says, no. And I can't tell whether he's playing or he's serious at this point because he plays like that too. And he says, no. As she laughed, as she says she loves you. And he laughed. He says, oh, okay. My dad didn't know who I was. He never says, oh, okay. He says, I love her too. And my mom will say, it's your baby girl. So Alzheimer's, is related to that. So wow, I should have canceled my live today. Let's see. Oh, Lynn had to make tea and snack. That sounds good. Got my giant coffee. It's not enough these days to take things with a grain of salt. Now we need the whole salt block. Exactly. Oh my gosh, the misinformation that's out there. Don says, my dad's like that, answers all the calls on his phone, even though he sees it's a number from Oregon. He knows no one in Oregon, but answers. Oh my gosh, the amount of phone calls when I was over at their house when she was in the hospital, that phone on a Saturday rang nonstop. Politics, trying to get her vote for this, trying to get her to, donate to that. And I was like, Mom, why don't you make these stop? But Don says, I need to get a salt lick. And then Dee says, oh, I'm so sorry, friend. I know that hurts your heart. Your dad still loves and remembers you. It's the disease that forgets. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I keep telling you guys about Sylvia doing the knit a day for, see, I got tissues. It's not what I thought was going to do it, but doing the knit a day for the Alzheimer's. Because like I said, it's home. So if you'd like to assist her with that, you know how to find her. If you don't, ask in the comments. I'll be happy to send you over there. Oh. Let's just no, don't make us all cry. Yep, we're done with that. Now we are on to happy. Telling you, being on a live and talking like this, it makes you feel like you got bipolar. You have to suck it up and move on. Lynn's, okay, I got Lynn's. Melissa says, there's a concept called sundowners. Most Alzheimer's patients have better recall in the morning. Yeah. And she said, hugs Coleen. And Lynn's got lots of happy hearts. And so does Dawn. And she says, sorry, Coleen. And Melissa says, mom had a patient who had Alzheimer's. He'd come down the hallway multiple times a day complaining that no one fed him this week. Well, and she asked my dad, she's like, do you want anything to eat? He says, no. You have to make him something anyway, because he will always say no. He says no, and then you can't bother until he's done eating. They were going to go for their anniversary to get something to eat. They'd gotten a certificate somewhere, gift certificate. By the way, I don't think Joann's is accepting their gift certificates anymore either, come to think of it. That's wrong, but okay. Anyway, she made my dad go with her. She's like, I don't want to go. I'm not hungry. And she says, well, I want to go. And it's for our anniversary. He says, well, I'll go just to keep you company. She said he had some type of ribs or something like that. Of course he did. Melissa says, we kept biscuits and gravy on the stove for him so he could eat 2 bites at a time. My dad he eats very little. He's pretty thin to begin with, which he wasn't a big guy. He was always what I would call a regular weight. Not big, not little, just regular weight my whole life. Of course, my mom made biscuits and gravy and fried potatoes. It was every meal. Something was being made. Southern cooking. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I've heard of sundowners, though. What time was it yesterday? I can't remember what time it was when she'd called. But I was going to say, I call her my sister-in-law. I call her my sister-in-law, too. My younger brother's children's mother came over, and, she still comes over and stuff and says hi to him, and she still talks to my brother, She came over, she came in, and she gave my dad a hug. And he hugged her, and then when she went outside, he says, who was that? And she says, that's Michelle. If my father-in-law forgot who I was, it probably wouldn't be as hard. But thank you for all the hearty, smiley faces. I appreciate that. So, y'all are going to do it. Feeling the love. Melissa says, eating very little is a function of age, I think. And then she says, bad mod, I forgot to thumbs up. I'll take your wrench and give it to Dawn. Give it to Dee Dee just to see her name in blue. I'm kidding. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn says the quilt behind me is beautiful. Thank you. Lynn says, my dad lost his appetites months before he passed, skinny as a rake. My dad's sister did last year before she passed. I don't think my dad's having the same memory and dream issues that she had, because I don't think it's going to hurt to tell. Their stepfather was the definition of evil. Definition of evil. Never caught. So she had a hard time. When the Alzheimer's hit, she was remembering childhood like it was now. I think that's just my opinion. I don't know. So I expected my dad to have some trouble. I don't see it. Anyway. So now we're going to go on to the fun part, since we've killed, I don't know how long we've been, way too much time on no fun things. Okay, I got a haul from Halo, and I put that in earlier. Let's see. I don't think it will do the whole thing because the green. Nope, I didn't get the green batting. May or may not snow today. It's going to be one of those days. I was looking for batting, and I'll tell you a story about this. If you go to their shop, let's see, where is Halo? That'll just take you to their shop too. So the links to everything but this batting, I think, got in. Anyway, I was going to get some of the Pelon. Is it Pelon batting? It's poly batting. Anyway, it was just for the table runner. I told my husband, I said, pick up this. I sent him a picture, and he's like, okay. When he went to the store. But before he went to the store, I realized that could only be stitched 4 inches apart. I like to quilt further apart, because 4 inches is from any angle. So, this corner to this corner can't be more than 4 inches and that kind of thing. So I was like, I like the option to quilt further apart. Sometimes I want closer together. Sometimes I want further apart. So I told him, I said, don't get that. Don't get that. I don't want to have to, do small quilting, which I did anyway. But I went over to Halo's because that's my next choice for shopping. Is the batting supposed to be colored green or just equal friendly? Good question, Melissa. It is supposed to be green because it's made from recycled bottles. This saved 7 bottles. It tells you down here a craft size, which is 46 by 36, saves 3.5 bottles, plastic bottles. These are made out of 101. Let's try that again. Earth-friendly soft polyester batting made 100% from recycled plastic bottles. And I'll probably get, let's see, 15, 30, 4 table runners out of this. Now, if you use straight white, I could see a little bit of this come through, just a little bit, but it was St. Patrick's Day, and the next one I'm going to do is a pastel one for Easter. So again, this doesn't bother me. But I do see it just a little bit, so if that would be something that bothers you, I wouldn't get this one. They have other ones that you can use too. This one I think was the cheaper one. And I'm cheap. This was way more expensive on Amazon, just so you know. Anyway, eco-friendly green, infamous green batting. Dad says, yes, it is. I thought that was really neat, though, that they recycle plastic bottles, because, I mean, it's a table runner, and it doesn't go in the kitchen. This table runner is not going in the kitchen. It's not like for your kitchen table where there could be hot stuff. If you could put hot things on it, I would always use the Insulbright, because if it's in my kitchen and I see it, the probability of me putting something hot on it is very, very good. So it should have Insulbright in it, is my opinion and how my brain works. But for wall hangings and for things that are never going to be in the kitchen, this is great. It doesn't shrink as much as cotton, which is also nice for table runners and wall hangings. I love the shrink in a quilt, though. So anyway, Melissa says it's got a little tinge of green, but I wouldn't see it unless someone pointed it out, Coleen. Good morning, Sherry. He says, when my dad was in hospital, the doc said to bring in all his favorite foods because he refused hospital food. If you listen to my dad, he doesn't have a favorite food. I know he does. But when my mom's in the hospital, I'm like, do you want this? And he says, no. And I told my mom, I said, I'm taking it to him anyway. I did, and he ate it. Where is that? I could go get that tail around and show you, but there's a picture on my page of it. Don says, all my homemade pot holders and trivets are burned. Overuse, abused, or pot holders, yes. Yeah, so, and kids' snack mats, liable to do the same thing. If there is a snack mat in my kitchen, it's liable to. So I would put pencil bread under those, inside those too, or flannel, or extra batting, things like that. So that is the green batting. I like it. I'd buy it again. And you could quilt up to 12 inches, I think is what it said. 10 inches. Where did I see 12 inches? Maybe it was on something else. You can quilt this up to 10 inches apart. There's no scrim or resins. Your needle will glide through this unique eco-friendly batting. So I'll tell you all about that. I had never tried it before, and it quilted fine. I didn't have any problems with it. And this is all I have left of the half yard of this fabric. I got it finding. I guessed very, very close what I needed. That's all. But isn't that adorable? Isn't it adorable? And I can't remember what it's called or who it's by. Let's do haul again so I can see. It is called Time to Make Some New Ones, Don, right? Oh, I'd use them until they were completely falling. Let's see, that is Quilt Room Kitty's Paw Prints Toss is what this is called. Isn't that just adorable? They had it in black, and I can't remember if it's a white or an off-white, but they have it in 2 colors. And you can buy the half yard or the yard. And Melissa has a question. If that size is made from only 6 plastic bottles, what other products are in that? It's made from 7. This one is 60 by 60. Let's see. Select Loft. Very good for hand quilting. I'm reading. This is going to take a while. Looking for something that says recycled plastic bottles. The green PET fiber is 100% post-consumer content. By using the close the loop recycling chain, Dream Green is made from a new generation of polyester fibers. Dream Green fibers set the standard for which all other environmentally friendly fibers are judged, because Dream Green is clearly pro-environment in both its raw material sources and in its manufacturing process. And it's made in the USA, by the way. Just so you know. It doesn't say anything but that. Carded, cross-lapped, and needle punched. There is no resin or resin. I don't know what, to resist your needle. Oh, and it does say on here, you may confidently stitch up to 12 inches apart or as closely as you would like. I knew I saw 12 inches somewhere. I maybe thought I was losing my mind, making things up again. I make things up, just so you know. "100% from recycled plastic bottles." Well, Melissa, that's a good question. Recycled other materials. Polyester is a synthetic to begin with. Whole bunch of information on there. And it also says support your local quilt shops. So if they've got it at your local quilt shop, please get it there, because Halo, although she is in Virginia, always says support your local quilt shops. They appreciate your business. But if you've got a local shop, I have a local shop. I just don't get there most of the time. And I was ordering other stuff. Let's see. So we got that. We got the paw print. We've got this dapple dot, which, see if we can get that up there. It's showing in my camera. It's an off-white with white dot. I was going to compare something. Hang on a second. Pardon me while I bend. I was wondering how off-white it was. These are some, that's how I keep them from going all over the place. This is a white, I think it's Wilmington Press. And then this is cookie dough or something like that, off-white. So it's in between this one and this one. I think that's what I need all the time now, because this one sometimes is just too dark. And I like that, just a hint of off-white. Well, I dropped that, so that's staying on the floor. And then last but not least, let's see how that compares to this one too. That looks like an off-white compared to this one too. Just a shade. What is my mouse doing? There we go. Just a shade compared to the, I think it's called White Out is what this one was. Let's open it. But those I don't usually buy. I need to go just buy a ton so I can stop buying them for a while. See if it still looks like that. Yep, I can see it's just a shade different. I would use them together though. No, that caused a nice snowstorm. So that was the haul. Oh, and I threw them in the trash. Self-threading needles. Some people hate these, some people love them. I am one that loves them. I don't have trouble with them. I do hand binding with them. I bury ends with them. They work great for me. And this is my other package. I needed new ones. So let's see. We're going to grab a card for next week just because I'm not sure. But anyway. What the heck is that? Toe beans is what I see. What is? Y'all are weird. Let's scroll up and see what was said. Okay. I asked questions. I saw that. And Dawn says, toe beans. Working a quilt with cat fabric and those paw prints would be perfect. Melissa says, I have this image of plastic bottles exploding into a cotton candy kind of thing. I can see that. That's probably right. When you heat a plastic bottle and pull it, it creates very fine string fibers for the polyester chains form. Dawn says at My Quilt Projects. Cool. And then Melissa says, Dawn, we use a lot of plastic. I'm wondering if this is a DIY opportunity. No, I'm not DIYing. And then you should look that up though, Melissa. Dawn, I don't know. Plastics are made with refined crude oil. My eyes just blurred. Making fibers might catch fire with DIY. Oh, I was talking to somebody the other day about doing a test with some batting and fire. Oh, and now Dawn and everybody else wants cotton candy. Thanks. a spoonful of sugar. I'm thinking my coffee will do for that. It's basically sugar. Yep, Dawn is the engineer in the room. Melissa says, okay, let's pull a card. Now, all the cards I've done, I've already got put in the back, so we'll pull something from the front, but not the very front because I just don't like to do that. Hopefully I've got these facing the right way. Oh, come on. I really look like I need to do all those. This will be next week's block. It is called Cut Glass Dishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why is nothing in eights? Which means templates. Because, and when I say eights, not eighths, because if I try to turn something like this into an 8-inch block, I'm going to get like 2 1/8 cut here, 2, and we don't like eighths. I'm trying to enunciate. Yeah, lots of pieces. And I am not going to do 32 at a time HSTs. Just so you know, that would be a thought. Let's see. What I see from just looking at this is that, and then that. Actually make that twice. That's what I see just looking at it. I don't read the directions. I don't look at the directions, but since I know this is in an 8, let's see what it says it comes in. And mostly it's because I can't see the directions. 6, 9, I think they're all 6, 9, 12, 15, and 36 inches is what the directions have on the back. If you're interested, this is the Quilt Builders card deck number 3. Quilt Builder, I always put an S on that. Card deck number 3. 40 more blocks, 8 inspiring layouts, infinite possibilities. And I draw one every week, and then I will do it with you guys. There is a link to these below the video. For Amazon, I am not affiliate. I am not sponsored with anybody or anyone. I get stuff, and that's what I show you. Put this up here so I don't forget it. I have done way too much talking and trying to get my head back on straight. Okay, this was this week's block. This week's block is the, I have plastic bags everywhere. Anybody else? Swing in the center. It too was not in an 8-inch, I'm pretty sure. Nope, not in an 8-inch, which is why I'm doing FPP and templates, and I will explain all of this stuff in just a second. Get the pieces I've got together so far. I left, let's see. I keep saying let's see, I'm sorry. I've put this one together and this part together because it's just a repeat. So I did that part without y'all. This block right here, you need 4 of them and it turns. That's how you get that design. And then the one that looks like a flying geese, same thing, 4 and it turns. It's not alive unless I've dropped something that I need to pick up. All right. So what else do we got? Okay, and one of these right here, went blurry. Got 2 of these, one up here, one down here. These, now I put it in as FPP. They really don't have to be done as FPP, but I would print these out just so you have the size they need to be cut to. Because the way I put pictures up, I didn't put the cuts up. I did this yesterday. By the end of the day, I was having a rotten day. I was like, I'm just going to take pictures of what I did. I'm not going to write them out or type them out because I didn't want to. And I felt bad for it, but not so bad that I did do it. Okay. So what I'm going to make is like this up here. I haven't put the center together yet. I fussy cutted that center. I've just glued them to the pieces they go on. And you don't have to do that. Just take your 1/4 inch, cut them out, take your 1/4 inch, just like templates. And what I did, to see what size you needed to cut so you can subcut. Like this one, it's a 5-inch block. I have some printer paper That is way too big for my printer because I'm irresponsible when I buy things. I don't always read the description well and don't know it for months afterwards because it just sits around. Actually, my husband said he was going to take it back and he didn't. Okay, we're moving on. Thank you guys. Don says, wow, lots of pieces. I so needed this live. Smart Coleen, thank you. And LOL, she says. And Lynn says, yes, Coleen is clever to be able to work all this out. Coleen is determined, if nothing else. But when I got the FPP out, I was like, okay, now give me one of these that I've got the papers on still. That says background. So, which background is? That's what this is for. This right here, I measured this square right here. Added the 1/4 inch. I figured out we needed a 5-inch piece. That is then cut diagonally, and again diagonally, in half, and again in half. So what I did to get my template size, so I didn't have to cut all that up, I just left it whole. I folded it into a triangle and I cut my fabrics using that. Not even kidding. That is how I got them for all of those little triangles. And I used scraps. So I didn't have a 5-inch piece that I was using. I literally used scraps, and some of them were just the right size triangles. They were cut-offs from other things. That's what's great about this. I can use all kinds of little pieces. So anyway, that is all the templates I wrote out. So, thank you guys. You guys are the best. You make my day. That's why I have to do it live. So I can hang out. In case you didn't know, that's why I do lives. I want to hang out. Oh, Dawn says, whoa, mind blown. I cut fabric, sew it together to find out it's the wrong size. Great use of the paper to get your size. Paper is cheaper. That's my thought when I'm doing that is paper is cheaper because I started doing that a while back because I wasn't sure which size I needed to get all those triangles. And you know, if you can cut, some of them are 2 at a time. So you take the piece of paper and you cut it right here, then you get a triangle here and here. 4 at a time, you crisscross, you get triangles here, 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 and here. So, whole lot of information right there. Put these thingies back where they go. And this was, once I got this set up, it was super fast to sew. It looks really busy. I'm hoping it doesn't look that busy once it's all together and in the quilt. It was really fast to sew. These pieces, I'll show you when it stops. These pieces I glued, because I don't like pens. I glued these sides right here, and the corners are just out of reach of each other, so I could glue both of those down. Take it out of the sewing machine, sew one side, and then sew the other of all of those. The same with the flying geese. I sew one side, and then I sew the other. For the sake of people who like to see me stuck with pens, I did use pens for these that I'm doing today. Let me get these with the right pieces. So FPP, the first piece, this is one of the 1.5 by 3.5 background pieces with a couple triangles on it. First piece I always glue to the paper. And I'm using this glue with no trouble whatsoever. That is not closed well. It's not giving me any trouble. It's not leaving any marks. Now, it looks yellow on the paper. That does not get on my fabric, which the purple that I used was getting on the fabric. So for FPP, you glue your first one on here. Then you line these up. When I say line them up, I always line the straight edge at the bottom, That guarantees that line right there. I've got too much up here, it's fine. Because when we sew it, it's going to flip over and you're going to have that. And since they're not touching, I'm going to put both of those back on so I can chain sew. Get those put on real quick. Don says yes. I have had a duh moment for years, apparently. Haven't we all? And then I would get my geese, whatever it is. That triangle just goes right in the center. Like I said, you could do this without the paper and just use the paper to sit down and cut around it to get your edges. But since I have the paper, why not use it? Same thing. Line up that bottom. Oops. Long edge pointing up to the corner, right sides together, line up that bottom. I can only do one side though, because trust me, if you try to do both of these, just chain piece without folding this one back, it's not going to work. Don't ask how I know. That's not going to work. I hope I put that on the right side. Okay, that is the 3 I have in front of me to make. Ducks in a row now. Okay, we're going to tilt. Coleen is a newer quilter than we are. She has different outlook on it, and there are things to learn. Melissa says, thank you. Most of my learning is because I don't want to do it another way. Okay. We're in lounge clothes today because they're more comfortable on my hips. I can't get this. Let's see. All right, we're done fighting. Drop it just to 10. Close your eyes if you get seasick. Oops. Moving. The birds are being very rackety this morning. Shame on them. So the first one I'm doing, and I'm doing an FPP. I pinned these on for you sadistic people who like to see me pin myself. But I did do both, and these are the 8, the 8 at a time triangles background. BG, by the way, stands for background in my head. I have done that. Lynn says I'm not brave enough to make up my own patterns. I don't know that they're my own patterns, but I can copy anything. And having Sylvia to FPP helps. For FPP helps. So I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. Then I'm going to do this one. And we're going to chain piece these because there's no sense in not. But I'm going to start at this corner. I'm just going to follow that line all the way through. Instead of stopping at the intersection there because it just goes off. It's fine. Here's one. Again, with this one, we're just going to follow that line all the way through. So on the line, I have veered a little bit before on these lines, and it's never, come back to bite me. But ideally, the line is there to sew on. Sometimes it's just a guide. And then the flying goose. I have side 3 on first. So 1, 2. It did not look like it was lined up with that 1/4 line. Line it up here and here. Still doesn't. And if you haven't cleaned your machine and changed your needle, it's a good day for that. Let's clip some chains. Both of these, I'm just going to turn around and do the other side. I've done this side. I'm going to turn around and do this side. Put that one on the way. Okay. Starting at the corner and going straight through. And since I'm sewing on a line, I honestly will use any foot I've already got on. I will use the zipper foot. I will use my 1/4 inch piecing foot. I will use the universal foot. It doesn't matter. I'm sewing on a line as long as I can see to sew on that line. Whatever is easier for you. Oh, Deborah says, love hearing the birds. Thank you. Oh, what'd Dawn do? Oh, Melissa says, nope, Dawn, putting yourself down is not allowed. You can't talk about my friend that way. I'm going to do this side now. That's right. I've had to stop calling myself lazy. I got in trouble for it too many times. Lazy and busy are not the same thing. I told somebody the other day, somebody used to tell me I was making excuses for something. And I was like, it's not an excuse, it's the reason. Then these just push back. You can finger press it with your iron. And then we're going to trim them down. Really got that one on there, right? But I told him, I said, the difference between an excuse and a reason is not negotiable. An excuse is negotiable to me. Just thought I'd share that with y'all. So we've got that one done. I'm going to put the other side on this one. We'll push this one back. We should be ironing. You know, that takes more time. I'm not doing that right now. I do that when I'm looking to my own devices, though. Push this one back, and it should cover that entire piece of paper. Then we'll do the other side, right sides together. Line that edge up. Line that bottom up. I'll go from this side. I should trim in between too, if I could, but I'm not. And this one has one more piece. Hey, wind. Nobody asked for that. Oh, see? Just. This one I cut bigger, so it did get over there. 3 of those, none of them did. I was like, well, this is a good idea to try first so I don't do it in a live. Turns out I did it in a live. I just picked that out right there where that was connected to the wrong side and then sewed it. Push it back. It's covering the paper. Now, if you just want to use that as a template, you just put your paper down on top of it after you get it ironed nice and flat. Put your paper down on top of it and cut like that. Let's see, this one needs one more piece. This took, like, after I got all these set up, this took seconds. Push both of these back. Got more than we need. Covers those sides. And this tip needs a blue, one of the smaller triangles from the 2.5 inch ones. I filled with this before. I think because I've got this side and this side, what looks even, it's going to go right in the center, but I have made it to where it just does something like this, sideways on me. I'm going to go a little bit lower than that center. See if I can trick it into going the way I want. Make sure I still got enough seam allowance there. That wind is picking up. Oh, it covers. So this covers that 2 barely. So most of these are just the right size. So we're going to trim all those up real quick before I move on. I think I just threw something at myself. Smaller ruler is better for a small space. There's a solid line right here that you cut away from it. If you've printed your templates out, you cut on the dotted line that goes around them. That's because we leave this 1/4 inch right here for the seam allowance. Hopefully you can see that. Then line up your 1/4 inch line on your ruler. I think I may have forgotten to bring my cutter over. All right. Guess I who stole it. 1/4 inch line right there. And next week I should have a rotating mat. Cutting that extra off, turning it. Has anybody else realized your rulers actually sit flatter when you have them the correct way down? I remember realizing that when I started quilting. And that did not cut straight the first time. Or my paper was cut wrong, one or the two. It's hard to tell when nothing's sticking out if you've got that side after you've spun it around a few times. Okay, we're going to call it good. So now we have basically a flying goose, and we've got our 1/4 inch intact right there because we sewed on the lines. I color mine instead of using colored ink because it's cheaper, and I like to. So now we'll take this one and do the same thing. That right there looks like it's more than a 1/4 inch to me. So I'm going to use my add a 1/4 ruler, which yes, I do own. Just barely. It wouldn't have hurt anything to leave that. That was bugging me. Earbuds falling out. Yeah, okay. Should have left it alone. So I've got that pushed back. We're going to do a 1/4 inch around that one too. Get rid of those dog ears. Any extra little bits of fabric. This is actually 1.5. You could square it down without it, just 1.5 by 3.5. Got a feeling I'm going to shut that window. Everything's going to land on the floor. I have to vacuum. Hang on a second. All right. Ow, ow, ow. That's my fingers. I wanted to close. Pardon me. Get to see the top of my head. Somebody tell me I forgot about bald spots. That was unnecessary. I like hearing the birds. So just trimming little bitty pieces off of that from the cuts I gave you. That one's trimmed, that one's trimmed. Let's trim this one. Let's see. Oh, Don asked what the weather was like here. The window's open, a nice spring morning perhaps. Yes, it actually is very nice. It woke up to 60 degrees. Maybe a little less than 60. Yesterday it was 30 and got up to I think 70, maybe 80. Just putting that 1/4 inch on the solid line. Cutting away extra. So this is going to be nice and straight in theory. Surprisingly, I can even mess up FPP and it still works. It still works. If you're a new quilter and you're thinking, wow, I'm having to use a seam ripper way too often, you're not alone. It still works. There we go. We got this one done. It is very pretty out right now. The sun is overcast. Let's see. Foot empowerment. What do we say? Don says foot empowerment. I always stop. Do weird things, Don. Melissa says, my theory is, whoa, scroll, that I don't want to talk about myself in a way that I wouldn't let someone else talk about my bestie. That's true, and that's a good rule. The light bulb turned on to a new technique. I love when that happens. This is Dawn. I've learned something from Coleen. I was not doing it wrong per se, but different. Same destination, easier path. Yay! I love to hear that. That's something else I had to stop saying. I'm doing it wrong. No, just different. We'll get there. All right. Let's put this piece together at the bottom first. Oops. The blue is going to face the center. This will go on this side. This will go on this side. So to do this, these two won't fit until we have these two together. So we'll put these two together, and normally I would take my pins, I would poke through this corner and make sure it goes through that corner. And same on this side. So I have this nice and straight, but we're going to wing it right now because we can. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. It is too fiddly. Let's try to do that on live. But then I'm thinking I should because it keeps coming apart on me. That's unusual. Then Dawn says, let's see, stay on the line. Staying on the line is better than just using a 1/4 inch with a FPP, but I've done both. It'll get you there. Dawn says, I love quilters' minds. We figure things out what works for our brain and are in disbelief when we see an easier, obvious way. I find humor in my way now. I'm going to take off these two little pieces that are in seam allowance, and they just come right off. This is newspaper print. There's a link below. I'm not affiliate or anything like that. That's where I get it. That's what I buy. I take those off. That way I'm not trying to pick those out when the seam is flipped over. Get paper stuck right there. I learned that from quilting with Stephanie Stitches. We're going to talk about that. Yes, we will. That is why you should pen. Or pull really hard and maybe you can make it look like you still got a really good point there. I really can't tell. Yeah, I still got the point. Barely. Okay, I'm going to set this back down. I always set it back down because I can go wrong quickly. Flip this side over. Again, I would pin my corners here and here, straight through the next corner. That way, mind. Dawn finds humor in her mind. I'm holding on to my threads back here with this hand. Okay. Not called for. Now you're inside out. Then I'll put the other side on. Right back down where it went. Make sure all my blues are facing inside. Flip that one back. Flip that one over. Right sides together. Line your edges up right there. Your edges down here up. And it's not completely necessary to, and this part of the paper, to pen, but it does help. Hey, I missed a, no, I didn't. Let's see what happened. Got a tail hanging out there. I don't know what from. I did miss the tail. Which means there's going to be a bird nest on back of this one. Pull it out. Maybe. Yeah, a little one. Well, that was neat. My machine sounds odd. It may be because of the paper. Come unthreaded. It may be the paper because it's clean. And the needle is new. So hopefully. It was sounding odd to me yesterday. That's why I cleaned it and changed the needle, because the needle had been on here through the table runner and through a quilt. Well, not through a quilt, doing some applique on a quilt. Let's try that again. Better grip on my threads. Whoa, got me to knock the coffee over. Not fun. Probably the point I lost. I recently quilted a quilt on this machine. It actually did not give me any trouble quilting. Ah, corners are all lined up right. Got all my corners. You'll be happy about that. Okay. Now, see, we just have 4 of these, 2 of these, 4 of these. So we've got those all done, and then we're going to make this piece that goes on the other side. Yep. Thank you for all the links. All the links. Let's see. Get the pieces together. Lay them out like they're supposed to be, or I will mess up. I was not sure at all if I was going to get to sew this today. I just wasn't feeling it when I got up. Well, after I got up. So we're going to get these out of the way so they don't confuse you. Still watching, but more lurking now. Keeping an eye out for varmints. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Love our lurkers. So now to do this one, I'm going to do one of the blue ones, which this is the 2-inch by 8-inch strip. I just laid these on it like this and cut them out. And this is the larger background. And I just turned that, didn't I? I know I did. Yep. Because it goes like that. So lay those out like they belong. Put those together. Again, I would use pins normally, but I'm not because I'm living dangerously. Like the quilting rebels we are. Sometimes I regret it, sometimes I don't. And voila. Now we have this piece. This is just turned this way. Now we'll put the gray one on after I take this out of the seam allowance. Where did I put my seam? I think they changed their paper a little bit. It's supposed to be the same thing I've been getting, but it is a little bit more annoying to pull out. I may need a smaller stitch. Okay. So we're going to take the small triangle background, just lay it over straight there, straight here, here, and here, 1/4 inch on that line. So I'm not all the way over the edge. I will catch up with what's being said in chat, if anything. Sometimes we're just quiet. And that's okay too. I can actually talk to myself for very long amounts of time before realizing nobody's listening. It's true. I think I got this one down a little bit, but it'll be fine. See that right there? It'll be fine. Today it'll be fine anyway. So I'm doing all of mine in patriotic colors. In the end, I will have a red, white, and blue quilt. You could do these in any color. That paper was coming off. And it would be cute in spring colors. All these different, it's a sampler using scraps. So it's a great scrap user. Oops, put this here. And then I'm going to turn this one over onto that flying geese. Line that edge up. Pin your corners so they don't do things like that. Quarter-inch, right sides together. If the fabric is facing you when you have papers on, you're probably having it wrong. Missed a bit. Hubby called to see if I could find something. Oh, mine does that all the time. Lynn said that. He needed the product number. I have much more important things to do. I know, right? So now we have this side that matches that side up. Opposite of that side up there, right? That's just, I don't like that angle. You probably don't like that angle either. So now we're going to put the centerpiece together. One's facing this way and one's facing this way. Again, if you're using the papers, you can pin them, otherwise a quarter-inch will still work to get it where it needs to be. My husband called me from the city one day, and he was going into the town in the other direction to the grocery store. He decided I was going to stay on the phone with him that entire time. Some people would say that's sweet. Other people would say, why would he do that to you? Your earbud's not working. You're stuck there holding the phone. I put it on speaker. I left the room a few times. Oh, taking this out of the, trying to. All right. 1.4. 1.6 wasn't quite cutting it for me. Bring my stitch length down. Usually 1.8 is good. So I don't think it matters which way I'm pressing that at the moment. I take this, right sides together on that. Great fussy cutting opportunity with the center of, I think, all of these that I've done. Dee Dee. Melissa says, that's right, Lynn. And then Dee Dee says, talking to myself is fine. The problem is when you answer. The problem isn't answering. The problem is yelling at yourself. Have you ever had a violent conversation with yourself? Oh, and Deborah, I talk to myself a lot. Can even argue with myself. See, there's the problem. Right there's the problem. Dee Dee, sometimes it's like I'm on a conference call with myself. Melissa, I talk to myself because I'm either having a staff meeting or looking for expert advice. Okay. Exactly. I was just getting some advice. Now, if you're using the papers, you don't really have to line up these intersections right here. If you're not, these intersections will line up. And so the nest is what I mean. Yeah, this paper is weird. Smaller stitch. So push one left and one right. And those seams, there's a little ledge here and a little ledge here. They're gonna smooch because they have absolutely no decency. And the other ones, I will get to do that when I get there. I should have pinned those. There, I usually do that. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push one away from me, and the other one's going towards me. This is why I usually pin. There we go. Ta-da! Not bad. Yeah, I did not take all my fabrics and put them together and think, oh, how is this one going to look over here and how does this one look over here? No, I was like, okay, I need this many blue. So I got all the blue out. I need this many red. So I got all the red out. Okay. And then on the other side, they're also going to nest around that square right here and right here. And these are actually pointing the right direction that they will. But when I do pin, I don't pin a ton. I go right through that seam, right through the seam on the other side, anchor it there. That keeps it in place. You don't have to do both sides if you don't want to. If you're more secure like that, please do it. Don't say that mean woman told me not to. Your quilt, your rules. I give suggestions. Sometimes they're not correct. Lynn says, I have discussions with the radio. They can't hear me, but I still do it. Dee Dee's expert advice is laughing. Deborah says, very pretty, Coleen. Thank you, Deborah. Last night I got tired of talking to myself, so I went to bed, and my husband was like, why are you going to bed? There's nothing to do. I'm tired of watching TV, tired of the computer. I'm just taking these sides off a little bit. Not going to get them all. I would really be bad at poking on. Do not roll over your pins, no matter how thin they are. Sew over. Do not sew over your pins. That's actually more of a rule than a suggestion. Most things are suggestions. I have bent so many pins. These pins are really great. I have bent them. I have done all kinds of things. I think I've only thrown one out because it was just that bad. And that is the center of the block. Now we'll add the top and bottom and then give it a press so it doesn't look all wonky. I really don't like taking papers off. I will beat you if you turn the internet on. I hear you. Sorry. He's old enough to beat. That was my no longer in college son. So now we're going to put this side on and this side on. I do like that a lot better. And it looks very scrappy. I'm very happy with it. There is nothing to line up. If you pin the corner here and pin the corner here, go through right there, over to the other side, and then put one or two in the center, it would be just right. Yes, I didn't do that. Oh, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I needed a giggle. Hey. This machine does not like intersections, no matter what you do to it. Have to be more forceful. It's actually doing quite good today compared to the other day. I'm stopping to realign because I didn't pin. Okay. Bugging me. I'm going to cut this extra stuff off here just because it's bugging me. There is absolutely no need to do that. That bugged me. I don't usually do that. Okay. So far, so good. That's lining up just like it ought to. Now, actually, after you get those ends, if you pinned right there on either side of this little piece right here, you would get that really nice. Oh, Deborah, you need to rearrange some furniture. I rearranged some drawers yesterday. I had projects that were done or ones that I needed to move over for other ones. I really wanted to get to my B panel, but then, like I said, my husband guilted me about my two sons' dragon quilts. So that's what I'm doing. I just didn't have any inspiration. What? Okay, hang on. I don't like how this is lining up. I didn't have any inspiration. And when I did have inspiration, that idea was knocked down. And once an idea gets knocked down, I'm like, it takes me a while to come up with another one. I kind of forced myself Sunday, but it took all day Sunday. See, I went through this corner and got it through that corner. Because this is pushing the seams, it's trying to force everything out of whack. Oh, wow. That right there is right where it's supposed to be. There's a corner here. I went through the top of this intersection. I'm going to pin that one and hold the rest. Okay. Halo is on 3 o'clock Wednesday live. Lord willing and Crick don't rise. And then, I don't know why I held that. I already had it going. Dee Dee has an upload Fridays. Shorts in between. Melissa and Sylvia and John all kind of do what they feel like. If I have an upload, I will do an upload. If I don't have an upload, I don't do an upload. It's pretty much that simple for me. I was trying to upload every week, and I was like, that's too much. Oh, that was just too much on me. So I decided to get some of my UFOs out of it. Oh, that's nice when that happens. It's the right size. Sometimes it's an 1/8 off, which I can fudge because I'm going to put a 1-inch thing around it. I'm not going to do that right now. It's been on here too long. Sometimes the first one I think I made out of this box was an 1/8 off. That's why I started using the templates, because my math, even with folding the papers and doing all that, it just was not coming out right. Even with FPP. But this 8.5 inches is what this block is. I should give it an iron, but I'm not going to iron because I don't want to now. I gotta say, you all have really improved my day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sherry says, the block is beautiful. I love the colors. All scraps. All scraps, and I was very concerned about how this was going to look. But the background, as they say, gives your eye a place to rest, I think. And once it goes underneath these blocks, now anyone who's just finding me, what do we call them? Diamonds. That one. This block is, the math and all that was from a 3-yard quilt pattern called City Lights. That's why this is going to be called Show Me City Lights. I'm using their math for that, but doing my own blocks for all the, what do they call them? Focus fabrics. And this is the Swing in the Center variation. I like it. I really like it. Fabulous use for scraps. I need to do that more often. I'm usually pickier about my scraps, about what goes where. This time I just got all the blues out, said what's going to fit, push them away. Got all the reds out, what's going to fit, pushed them away. Did not even pay attention to. I love it. Love it. Working with scraps is hard. My brain does not like them as much. Thank you. Deborah says, now that my cough is better controlled, I can maybe work on the minions and not cough to pieces all over. Now that's getting warmer. I've got a fan on that I'm contending with. I was cutting pieces for my son's dragon thingy. All wanting to go on the floor. And then Dee Dee says, you always improve ours. Thank you. I appreciate that. And like I said, don't forget to pray for those that are and there's still the out of control burning is a problem too, with the smoke that it creates. And I know Oklahoma, Texas, East had that problem. On top of everything else, we're supposed to have really high winds. I'm praying no one decides that it's a good day to burn, because, there's always those people who can't tell that it's 40 miles an hour winds out there. The trees are about toppled over and they decide it's a good day to burn. I live in the country. We have things like burn barrels and bonfires, and I really would like to use my burn barrel out there, but I just haven't had a good day. I am a chicken. I am terrified. There's a field in back of us and a field beside us. If one spark went into those fields, we would be in trouble. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for checking out my channel if you're new here. Thank you for, being here. We need a happy place in this world that is just not. Some people would think that that's being unrealistic. Well, you know what? Is that inappropriate? That might be inappropriate. I refuse to have this beautiful home the Lord gave me inundated with bad vibes, bad thoughts, bad news. It gets its time. It gets a little bit of time. Okay, what's going on in the world? Okay, done. I know what I need to pray for. I know what I need to do. I'm just, you don't need it all day. I've tried it all day and it does not put me in a good place. I don't know about you. Anyway, don't forget to check out Jordan Fabrics. Maybe go buy something from them. It'd be a good day to do that. And check out Halo and her green batting. And all my moderators, even the ones that aren't here, because we love them. Links to their channels down below, also over here in the chat. If you don't have your chat up, I may have missed saying something that was hilarious. It could happen. Which way is it? That way. Worst YouTuber ever. So you know. I hope you all have a good day. And pardon me. Oh, wait. I was going to show you something. I was working on spring. There's 2 blocks here, so there's one on top of the other. It's also on my community page, which you can find free patterns, other channels, and sales from stores that I go to and enjoy. Not sponsored, not affiliate. Oh, there it is. There's one that's done. This is going to be my spring table runner. I know, it's a very small table runner, isn't it? It's going to have lots of pieces. I love this. My husband makes fun of it. He's a heathen. I don't know what to do with him. Yep, I said it. He is. Everybody knows now. Oh, let's see. And then I've got the letters. More letters here. And it's on it. And I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Don't be offended. For the letters, I think it'll fit. I may have to rethink one side. On top of one side, it'll say he's, and on top of the other side, it'll say risen. Because I'm making a table runner for my own home. I decided that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to make myself some table runners because I don't make for me. I know a lot of us have that problem. We make for everybody else, not for ourselves. So I thought these little things are perfect for my home and for me. And if I can, I will get you some free patterns up for those. It's going to be a couple weeks. I ain't gonna lie. It's going to be a couple weeks. I love it. This braid you can do without. I'm doing FPP. You could do without it, but why would I? It's just one of those things. Oh, everybody's saying have a great day. Thanks, Coleen. Beautiful, Lynn says. Dawn over my quilt project says beautiful too. Don't forget, visit all of our friends. Sub, ring the bell, leave a comment, select all for your notifications on that bell so you don't miss anything. But YouTube sometimes takes them away. Take care. Lead with kindness and be the light you hope to see in others. And I'll see you next week.